Hey everyone, it's me, James, and I'm back again doing a video, and tonight it's going to be for the mystery soap in the YouTube pass around that we're doing. And thanks Ray for getting it out here, the package and everything, and I appreciate it, bro. And so that's what we'll be doing tonight. Right now I got the soap blooming, not because it needed to soften it up. It's a pretty soft soap, but just because I like to bloom. To me, it almost smells like, it's weird. I get some like notes of something that almost reminds me of like fresh cut grass. So that's what it's smelling like right now. Um, the brush I'll be using is going to be my Horse Natural White in olive wood handle. This particular model is made exclusively for bull goose, just by the specs of the knot and whatnot. So if you're interested in knowing a little bit more about it, read up on it at Bull Goose. And this will also be the Derby Challenge, and this will be for day 4. So I got that once again inside of my FatBoy. Gonna start off with it set at 3. Alright, before I get started, I just want to say to the artisans out there, really appreciate the work you guys put in. And just like a lot of others say, it's the behind the scenes stuff, taking messages, answering back to our questions, our concerns when we do have them, suggestions that you may have for us on what we like, things like that. And this goes across the board, whether it's blade makers, vendors slash artisans, vendors that deal in our wet shaving supplies, but specifically to the soapers. And it's just great to have that kind of personal interaction that we're able to do in this hobby of ours, and you can't get that in much other type of circles. So thank you very much, all of you. Just go ahead and give yourself a big hug from me. While you're hugging, just think of a corn husk, a tamale inside of that corn husk. You're unwrapping the corn husk. You're gonna eat that tamale. You take a bite, and this is a delicious pork tamale. No roaches. I don't do roaches. And you just realize just how wonderful that masa is. It's warm, it's steamed, and the pork meat is just tender, delicious, and a little bit spicy from the red chile, and it just all complements so well. And there's still no roaches in it. And then you take your Coca-Cola, a bottle, classic Coca-Cola glass bottle. You have to use the bottle opener or a lighter, and you have to pop it off. You just finished your tamale. Now go ahead. This Coca-Cola is made in Mexico with real cane sugar, so it's better for you than that other crap we have in the US. And I don't know why Jaime likes roaches in his tamales, but in Denver, none of my family or friends made roaches in the tamales, so that must be something from San Antonio. We don't eat them like that, so imagine the kind of tamales without roaches in them. That's what you ate. Alright. So we set that down. It was an imaginary Coke. Alright. So, already washed up, prepared, brush has been soaking. So I'm going to wet my face real quick and then we'll start loading the horse brush. Be right back. Thanks. Alright, I'm back. So now we got this bloom water. We're going to pour it in the container that's been holding the brush, squeezing the brush. There we go. Leave just a tiny bit in there, just to give the brush tip something to start with. Very little. Don't even know if you guys can see it. Alright. And again, the soap is very soft, so it's not going to take much, I would think, in order to coat these tips. And again, there's something in it that just kind of reminds me of being outside. Like if you guys have ever been on like a practice field that's not really the area where you would host games or anything like that for outdoor sports, but just like a place that you guys go practice, like for the boys, where my son practices for soccer. It's usually just an open field that they set up some practice goals on, and that's where they practice at. They try not to practice in a lot of places on the same place that you play. And at this age, you know, there's not a lot of fully made practice fields. So you find an open field, and usually it has like wild grasses and stuff like that growing. That's one of these notes coming out of here kind of reminds me of field grasses cut, because you're going to have like a mixture of maybe some of the wildflowers that inside of that growing up and sprouting too. So very unusual scent. Very earthy and green in that regard, I guess. Alright, so I'm going to put a little bit moisture in the tips. There we go. That should do it right there. Got some creamy proto lather rising, so we'll go with that. In my last video I forgot that I have my storage area where I could put this at. Alright. Set that down, wet the cheeks. There we go. Take this out of storage. Again, I don't think there was a whole lot of proto lather, just for the simple fact that it such a soft soap. Wet the tips. Seems to lather pretty well, whatever this is. Kind of has a little bit of a talc powdery type scent with it as well, at least to my sniffer. Alright, that's where we're at. Creamy goodness. There's that nice melted ice cream look. Pour out the rest of that water. Set that down. And here we go. To me, it's like a light to light medium type scent. When I opened the Ziploc bag that it came in, the first thing that my nose noticed was more of a talc powder type scent as the dominant scent. Alright, having, like I commented on as far as the blade challenge goes, yesterday I had commented, well, for me it was yesterday, last video I commented for day 3 of the Derby blade challenge that, you know, I have to be able to shave with the blade because I don't shave usually back to back, so there will be growth on the blade on the 3rd and 4th use, and 2nd use, but so there was a lot more noticeable tugging yesterday. I don't have much to mow off today, so I can still tell it's grabby, but nowhere near as what it was yesterday. Soap seems to have plenty of cushion. Ooh, excuse me, I think that tamale gave me a little heartburn. Alright, let's see. There's some slickness there. I wouldn't call it the most slick or whatnot, but it works. Alright. Set the razor down, and I'm going to rinse and I'll be right back. Thanks. Alright, I'm back. Let's see, what am I noticing? With the rinse, I mean, you can definitely feel that there's the slickness, the glide that's there. I would say it's on par for what you need to have a comfortable shave. Lather seems to be doing well. All right. I don't know, maybe there's supposed to be some like leather component to it, but I still smell something really green. And whatever it is, again, it reminds me more of like cut grass. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. Alright, that was past 2. Now, because I shaved very close yesterday, I actually really got a good shave on when I dropped the FatBoy down to 1 yesterday and was just going over my neck. So right now, I'm feeling a little sensitive right here, which is like one of my sensitive areas anyway. But as far as from the soap and I don't notice anything like bothering me from the soap itself. So that's good. Alright, I'm gonna rinse and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. Lather seems to be able to handle water, at least in the way that I'm used to lathering. So I think that water control seems to be pretty easy for it. Alright. There it is. As you can tell, it still looks wonderful as far as the sheen. And here we go. Man, it'd be a terrible thought if one of these folks passing around stuff was like a serial killer and just had ricin and all kinds of crazy junk inside of the stuff. See wet shavers dying all over the country. Alright, so here we go. Pass number 3. I'm going to go down to setting 1. So Peter and the Gregs doing wonderful, getting your videos together. Forget which one is which, but you know who you are, Benjamin Grimm. That Greg. Seems everywhere I turn my TV channel, you're there. Rise of the Silver Surfer. You even had your cameo role in Sons of Anarchy, helping Gemma out. Peter, way to go, not giving up, bro. You've come a long way since those first videos that you put out. And I think you were straight shaving even before you put those videos out. So, man, I feel you. You've come quite a ways. You look a lot more comfortable. Looks like your angles adjusted quite a bit so that you're getting those nice smooth swaths with the blade instead of the that you were having at some points. Your cuts don't look anywhere as near as bad as what they were when you on those first couple getches. Alright, so everything seemed to handle pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and rinse my face off real quick and I'll come back with some final thoughts. Thanks. Alright, I'm back. And so that was for the mystery soap, which I'm not a fan of the scent. It smells like, to me, it just smells like talc and grass clippings and maybe a little bit of leather. Maybe it's just some scents inside of it that make it smell like that to my nose, like just when they're mixed together. But it's not pleasant to me. The scent as it stands I wouldn't like. The soap performance seemed pretty pretty on par. I mean, seeing the lather looked great, and to me it felt fine. You know, slickness was a good shaving slickness. Cushion was great, so gives you nice yogurty consistent lathers, which I like instead of more. I'm sure I could get it to like the fluffy level, but I didn't want to. If you can have a really good bodied lather without going fluffy, to me that tells me more about what the lather is capable of, in my opinion. All right. TSE, you ready? Here we go. As you can tell, the lather's held up great. So there we go. Pretty well cleaned out on the brush. Wonderful sheen. Tight on the bubbles. Just not crazy about this scent. Slick. Good body. Oh, missed that one. Normally I can catch them. That one threw me off. So yeah, good body. Has that melted marshmallow consistency. It's very nice. Rinse my hands real quick. All right, and again, the blade. Had that set to 1 on the last pass. I don't know if you can see it like that. It's going to be bent anyway, so I might as well just pull it out now. The Derby. And how did I think it did for this whole 4 shaves? It wasn't a stellar blade. Serviceable. And so, for me anyway, I didn't really appreciate a lot of the tugging that I had if I had to go back through a couple days growth while still in the blade rotation with it. But overall, it's serviceable. If you have, you're probably not going to hack yourself up if you start off with this blade, because it's not the sharpest, that's for sure. So it's a blade that you can begin with, but on the same note, if you can start with something just a little bit more, like if you can get yourself a hold of any of the, in my opinion, any of the 7 o'clocks that come out of Russia, grab a pack of those, learn with those, and to me, I think you'll get much better shaves than this. And the 7 o'clocks, I think they're all pretty decently priced. Maybe the yellows might be a little bit more. I'm not really sure. But I know you can get the dark blue pack, or some people call them the black pack, but really it looks more like it's like just a really dark midnight blue. And or the greens. I don't think the greens are coated. I think they're just labeled as stainless. But I know the dark blues, from what I recall, that seems like I recall there being like some platinum or something like that, coated with something. And the yellows are nice. Alright. And of course the brush was the Vie-Long horse in natural white. And just a great all-around simple brush. You won't break the bank with it. If you don't have overly sensitive skin and you can handle a little bit of scritch from the pricklies, this brush will take you a long way. Really, really solid performers, these Vie-Longs. And in my experience, I've never had anything go wrong with the two that I have, the two horse brushes. I just so happen to get both of mine from Bull Goose. One of the things that you can do though is pay attention to like some of the suggestions that folks have for taking care of a horse knot specifically. Being ginger but careful. Once it dries out and it's dried, fully dried, just carefully take a wide enough tooth comb and just lightly go through it to kind of just keep the hair straight. Seems like one of the things people talk about with it are like the hairs will kind of get mangled and then it'll start get itself all twisted, and then that can lead to it balding. So I do that to keep care of both my horse brushes, and because I read about those concerns before I ever bought a horse brush, and I was like, oh well, I'm still gonna try it and we'll see. And I've had that Bull Goose brush for over 2 years now, the first one, and I've had this for a minute too, but because I believe that's a 2012 edition, the one that I have in the orange butterscotch handle, beehive handle, and yeah, great little brush. So anyway, those are my thoughts. Everyone take care. Thanks for letting me have my fun and games, and appreciate you guys, and thank you for watching. Bye.